What's up guys, Billie Weiss here, coming at you from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm here in my sick photo studio, aka my dining room. And hey, I'm really excited to connect with you guys here on YouTube. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time now, and I'm glad I found a little bit of time to get this channel up and running. I am the official team photographer for the Boston Red Sox, and I'm also a freelance photographer and videographer for a variety of clients both in Boston and around the country. I get a lot of questions about my job and how I got to this point in my career. So I wanted to kick this YouTube channel off with a little get to know me. I was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, the land of the O, the land of the natty bow, and the land of the crab cakes down on the shore.
Crab cakes and football! Nice. That's what Maryland does!
My dad gave me his old film camera when I was in high school, and that kind of got everything going for me. I actually have the camera here still. This is the camera right here that pretty much got everything going for me. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea how to use this thing anymore. I am all digital these days. I don't touch film. I don't even know how to load the film. I don't know how to do anything. But this is what got it all started for me. I started taking some photography classes in high school, and it just felt right. It felt natural to me. It felt enjoyable. It felt fun. I was a terrible math student, terrible science, physics, algebra, trig. All those classes were a nightmare for me. I grew up in a really creative family and a really creative household. My dad is a fine artist and a professor of art at a college, and my mom is a world-class concert pianist and professor of music at a college. So growing up, there was always music in the house, always art, always things to look at. There were always creative conversations happening. So it's no surprise to me that the photography was kind of an easy fit in high school and something that I enjoyed doing. After high school, I started as a freshman at Goucher College, which is a small liberal arts college outside of Baltimore. And quickly after I started, I joined the student newspaper. And that's really where everything changed for me and things started to get serious in my career as a photographer. All of a sudden, I was out on campus shooting pretty much everything that was happening. I had stories that I had to work on. I had deadlines that I had to meet. And it felt like for the first time there was a sense of purpose or a sense of direction behind the photography, not just out there shooting aimlessly. I was doing everything I could get my hands on, and not just sports at the time. It was really anything happening on campus. So arts and entertainment events, student performances like dance recitals, student gatherings, student government, guest lecturers and speakers that would come to campus, portraits of students and staff and faculty, and yes, all the sporting games and events that were happening on campus. And so I used that body of work to put together what I thought at the time was a good enough portfolio to apply for some photography internships, including one as the photography intern for the Baltimore Orioles. And I was actually lucky enough to get a call back for an interview with the Orioles. And I don't know what they saw in that portfolio. I'm looking back at those photos, which I'm showing you here right now. This was not good stuff. I mean, it's easy to look back and say how bad your stuff was, but this stuff really wasn't good. But I guess it was good enough to get my foot in the door, and I had a good interview. And into my junior year, I was offered a photography internship with the Baltimore Orioles. This was kind of like a dream come true moment for me. I grew up in Baltimore, grew up a huge O's fan, watched the team all through my childhood. I played baseball growing up all the way through high school. This was pretty much the best of all of my worlds coming together in one dream internship. Quickly into that internship, I realized, all right, this is what I want to do. I mean, it was a no-doubter for me as soon as I started that internship that this is the career that I wanted to make for myself. Being around the players, the energy of the stadium, the energy of the fans, being up close and right in the middle of the action was something that I was really drawn to right away. Asked a million questions, learned a lot from the team photographer, learned a lot from the other photographers from the newspapers and the news wires that were shooting all the games, and just soaked up as much as I could. Had an amazing, amazing year at the Orioles. I also did one other internship at the Baltimore Sun, which is the daily newspaper in Baltimore. This was a little bit of a different experience than the Orioles one. The Orioles was kind of more from a marketing, public relations standpoint. This was really more of a hard-hitting, journalistic news experience when it came to photography and videography. So I was out in the city covering local beats. Still a really great experience. The skills from that internship I still use to this day. So anyone who knows me knows that I've always been a big Red Sox fan, and I'm not just saying this because I work for the team now. This is true. You can ask any of my friends who know me for a long time. Red Sox were always like my number 2 team, possibly even tied as my number 1 team. My AIM screen name in middle school was MLB Red Sox 22. My grandma grew up here in Boston. My mom grew up in Boston. My grandma still lives up here in Quincy. She's 98 years old and she's still a huge Red Sox fan. I remember coming to the games at Fenway Park when I would come up to Boston with my family to visit for the holidays. So they were always right up there for me as my favorite team. And I actually learned when I was interning with the Orioles that the Red Sox also offered a photography internship. And of course, that was naturally something that I was gonna go for. So after I finished with the Orioles, I put together my portfolio from my season of work there and applied for the Red Sox internship. And I was lucky enough to be offered the photography internship for the Boston Red Sox for the 2012 season. Takes us to 2012, man, that was a wild year. I interned with the Red Sox. It was the 100th anniversary of Fenway Park. I also had applied to graduate school at Boston University, got my master's in photojournalism from the School of Communication there. This was an awesome one-year program, really fine-tuned my skills. I was pretty advanced at this point, but there were some fine-tuned skills that I really wanted to work on that I was able to do during that one-year program at BU. After the season was over, I got really lucky. There was an opening for a part-time assistant photographer role, which I was offered. I, of course, took the offer and rolled into the 2013 season. And we all know what happened in 2013. The Red Sox go on to win the World Series. I was able to make kind of a name for myself that year with the portfolio of images that I made from that historic World Series run. I worked for the team for a couple more years. That part-time job became eventually a full-time job offer, and I've been there ever since. So the job kind of has changed and evolved over the years, but right now I'm the senior manager of photography for the Boston Red Sox. And what that means is I oversee pretty much all aspects of photography for the Boston Red Sox and for Fenway Park. I shoot most of the games. I shoot spring training before the season. I shoot the special events like the All-Star Game, playoffs, a lot of the player appearances out in the community and with our corporate partners, and also kind of act as the house photographer for Fenway Park. So shooting the concerts that happen at Fenway Park and also the non-baseball related events that we have throughout the year. I also manage the Red Sox Digital Photography Archive, which is comprised of hundreds of thousands of really amazing images from the beginning of the Boston Red Sox all the way through today, over 100 years of Boston Red Sox and Fenway Park history. I also have an incredible staff of photographers that I oversee. It's really fun to see how our team comes together to capture Red Sox history year by year. It's been crazy, man. It's been a dream ride. I've been there 9 years now already. It's hard to believe that time's gone by so quickly, but I've been able to experience some really, really awesome things. I was there for the 100th anniversary of Fenway Park back in 2012, and I saw the end of David Ortiz and his career at the Red Sox and his retirement in 2016. And also, I've been there for 2 World Series championships in 2013 and 2018, and I've got the rings to prove it. So all the while, I've been working really hard to also develop the freelance side of my business. And this is hopefully something that I can talk to you guys more about in the future on this channel. But I pretty much shoot anything that comes my way. I shoot a lot of other sports besides baseball, but I don't just do sports. I do a lot of portraits, a lot of corporate events, weddings, engagements, pretty much anything that comes my way, I shoot it. All right, so hopefully you guys feel like you've gotten to know me a little bit through this. I hope that I can serve as kind of a source of information for you guys, a source of creative inspiration as well. I hope to give you some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way within my photography career that can help you out. Some tutorials, some vlogs from the shoots that I do at Fenway Park and beyond, some Q&As, and really anything else that you guys want to see. So subscribe to this channel. Give me a like on this video, drop a comment below and say, hey, tell me what you want to see. I'm all ears. You can also follow me right here on Instagram for more photos. I'll see ya.